Okay, I can't hear myself. What's being transmitted? So because my headphones broke, or not broke, or charge ran out of them. Um, so I don't know what's going on right now. I had a lot of problems loading the other video up. Um, the computer went absolutely batshit. Think it might have been hacked. I don't know. Um, but apparently, what's going on is that YouTube was making upgrades to my system while I was trying to use the system. Facebook did the same thing this earlier this morning, but I managed to avoid any problems. So I don't even know what really happened. So hopefully this video is going out and you can see it and you're either happy or unhappy with it. But that's nothing I can do about that at the moment. I have to wait till I can take this apart and see. Anyhow, we were talking about the nationalization of the elections, and people don't understand that terminology. What it means is right now the states control uh, how you vote and what kind of machines you use and everything else, what methods used for voting and all that. That's all done by the states. Nationalization doesn't means that you have a for federal elections anyhow. You would have one process and one process only, and that's whatever the federal government decides. And Trump, he's going to want all kinds of voter restrictions because he knows he's going to lose. He has to understand something. Nobody's telling him he's going to have the same margin of victory in the midterms that he had in his uh, presidential run. It's not going to be a close race. He's going to lose. And he's going to lose by margins in some states that are going to make it impossible for him to try and claim or delay the results as a uh, fraud or something like that, because people are being very careful about this. They don't want any problems with this election. They want him gone in most cases. Most states don't want him around anymore. But if you nationalize the elections and you eliminate, or even if he gets his party comes back to power, MAGA does, stays in power and everything like that, and they get they said they even gain more in the majority. That leaves people with only one choice, and he's going to definitely try to screw with the federal election, which he might be able to do. But so what your choice is what I'm saying on the other side is that you turn to revolution. When you deprive people of the rights to choose their leadership, and they have no way of correcting that, then you give them only one choice, and that is revolution. And revolution is not good for anybody. All right. In our own revolution, we had people that didn't want it, and that went over and fought for the British side. Because we're all from England and whatnot, those countries over there at the time. So they didn't want to be separated from England. All right. Now, would that have worked out better for us? I don't have the faintest idea. I'm not a politician. I dabble in politics and I dabble in just like I dabble in bullshit. So I don't know. Um, I hope you guys are seeing this video because it keeps getting light and dark, and I don't know what the problem is. Maybe my camera's going bad. I should look into that. But anyhow, uh, you're not giving these people a choice in how they can solve their problems. So it's like people be, become like rats. You back a rat, and a rat is pretty much a docile animal. Doesn't want anything to do with people. He's not gonna run over unless he's starving to death and try to chew on you, or unless you're dead. All right? They don't really attack. What happens when they attack is their home is threatened or they're backed into a corner. When a rat's backed into a corner, he will do he'll eat through your face to get out of there. Okay? So yeah, that's when they become extremely dangerous. That's just, and most animals are like that. You see a stray dog and you try to capture it to, they're not friendly when they get cornered. Okay, they become desperate. And that's what would happen with the people. When you put people into corners and they become desperate, they're capable of almost anything. And I mean, we're talking not a nice, polite war. We're talking about atrocities. We're talking about, yeah, okay, we'll nuke you. They don't care. And Trump is like that. You back Trump into a corner where he's got nowhere to go, and he's going to fight, or he's going to order the armies and whatnot to fight. He's not going to fight personally because he's a coward. So is Hegseth. So is Vance. You know, uses the excuse, well, I'm civilized. There's sometimes when certain things are said or done to you, you just stop being civilized, and he loves to threaten people from a point of what he believes is a point of power. I don't threaten people. Okay. I just do what I'm going to do, and that's the way I've been, you sit here and it's easy to talk. And all you guys know it's easy to talk. It's easy for me to say whatever I'm saying here because there's, at the moment, no repercussions for me, and that's not going to stay that way probably, depending on what goes on with the world and whatnot. But Trump isn't just a dumb. He's a coward, and cowards are a dangerous group of people. Um, a coward can snap. They say no. They do anything heroic. You put enough pressure on any human being, and they will do something that they will either be extremely proud of later, might get them killed, or it's going to turn them into a really pain in the ass. Because that's the human condition. We can only be pushed so far, and when you don't give us a way out, when you can't negotiate anymore, and that's what Donald does now. He pushes everything to the extreme, and then he stops and says, "Oh, we're going to back off now." Like in Minnesota, he's backing off. He's bringing out 800 or so of his stormtroopers, and they'll go someplace else and create hell. But that's just a situation. But if you back the American people into a corner where they have no alternative, there is no negotiation, there is no let's go vote him out of office. If you make that an impossibility, and people are going to turn to all their alternatives, seeking help from other countries, which will not work right. Not a good idea right at the moment. To the fact that they're going to go and do what happened on January 6th. For some reason, those people were convinced on January 6th that there was no. I just got a visit from a very pretty moth, but I don't know why. It's daytime. I don't know what it's doing out. But anyhow, they felt they had no alternative, because Trump was walking out of office, and Trump didn't want to walk out of office. So they felt that we'd go in and they would intimidate the electoral voters and get them to change their opinion. And then somehow or another Trump would be elected back then. What are you doing in here? You can't see him, but he's flying around behind my computer screen being very disrespectful. All right. I think he left the room. Maybe he's headed for outside. I hope so. Beautiful looking things these guys are. I hate to see them die. When I try to catch him and then I take him outside. No, he's over here. There he is. They just can't find a way out. I don't know where the light just distorts their brain process or what. But anyhow, in order for me to go save my little friend over there, I have to leave. So, oh, never mind. He made it. He's gone. Okay. He's headed for the great outdoors. Okay. Um, I do that with moths and stuff like that, even bees that I don't like, and I'm definitely allergic to bees. But most of the bees that come in here are sick, so I just kill them. to put them out of their misery. Um, we have hornets and wasps down here that are this big. Okay, we have hornets that the last time I saw them, they were about that big. I don't know what kind they were. They swarmed, and there were just thousands of them dead all over the place. They got killed in a violent rainstorm or something. Nobody knows what happened to them, or somebody was spraying them. They look like ground hornets, the ones that live in the ground. So that was an experience for me. I've had spiders this big around. They're wolf spiders. I've had three of them over the last 16, 17 years. I saw one in front of a church under construction where the stores are and everything down near my house. That was laid flat, was about this long, and I'm not really sure what it was because it looked like a Brazilian wandering spider, but whatever it was, it didn't like me and I didn't like it. So we parted company that way. But I have no desire to kill anything but ants. Ants are the ants we have down here are leaf eaters, and they're very, very destructive, um, especially in these massive colonies they have. And I don't know, I just don't like them. They're fun to watch. They're industrious. They're unbelievable survivors, but they destroy the trees I like. So uh, we have a little war going on there. Um, Ants are a pain in the ass, really. They're not they're not I don't know. They're not really friendly. They're not antagonistic, but they're not friendly. The moths are friendly. Butterflies are just beautiful. They're there for their amazing beauty. All right, what did I digress from? Oh, talking about Trump. He is a type of individual that he's like a rat. If you back him into a right now, he's showing the cowardness side of him. He backs down, but not really, because he's been distracting you from something else. And everybody says it's the Epstein files, or Epstein, whatever. Nothing in there is going to hurt him. Okay, unless they have an absolute photograph of him in bed with a naked 12-year-old. First of all, I'm going to throw up when I see him naked. Second of all, that would be the end of his career. Okay, even there's not a Republican on the planet that would be able to vote for him. All right, not even the pedophiles in the Republican Party will be able to vote for him. And that's where the problem is. With all the people that are on in the Epstein files, they went to parties. So what? They had sex. So what? If they had sex with children with uh, young children, then they take them out and shoot them. I said that the other day. I don't. There's no cure for that. Look it up. There's not. The conversion therapy doesn't work. Okay, all it does is make a lunatic out of somebody. You've got an empty head walking around. All right, so listen up. I'm in the process of maybe that's what's been causing the problems with my computer, but I want to expand my universe somewhat or another and become more influential if I can. So by going out and getting people to subscribe to these videos, because I don't know how many of you are actually watching it right now, but telling your friends, live videos are hard because of the timing it's done with it, and I'm not really exotically on time all the time, so there's a problem with that. So you can go out and watch one of the other videos whenever you want, and those are the ones that I'd like you to subscribe to. But you subscribe to the whole channel, so anything that I do on that channel, you'll be able to access. If I do a video on how to carve wood, whatever you need. All right, that's it for me today. Um, I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, my headphones are working. I'll be able. I have to wait till this is done to test the audio. So hopefully it worked. It looks like everything's working, but we'll see. Wait and see. So you guys take care, and I'll catch you tomorrow. All right. Have a great day.